I was an engineer, and in 2008, lost my job due to the economic collapse. Jobs were scarce. I didn't know where to turn to get help updating my resume. Online services and coaches charge hundreds, even thousands of dollars. I took matters into my own hands and learned how to craft interview-winning resumes. Shortly later, I landed a job with a Fortune 500 company. I've helped many achieve similar success. Now I share my tips to create interview-winning resumes, interviewing excellence, and high-performance growth strategies on my podcast, Career Growth Made Easy. Hey there, and welcome back to the Career Growth Made Easy podcast. I am your host, Craig Ansell. For today's show, it's number 138. Celebrating little victories. As a podcaster, it's natural to want to attend Podfest. What makes it easier? They're coming to my home state, Florida. This year, I was invited to submit a proposal for a 30-minute speaking session. I was so excited to be considered, but I wondered, what kind of competition would I be up against? I had to make the title catchy and provide a good storyboard as to what my presentation would contain, and make sure I targeted the audience. My title reflects my content, 3 years of podcasting experience in 30 minutes. I plan to share my challenges, lessons learned, and best practices. If you know me or have listened to my show before, you know that I love to teach. I love to coach. To share knowledge. If I struggled, or in some cases failed in my actions to achieve my target, I am open and willing to share with you so that you don't have to repeat the same situation that I did, not the exact same steps. Hopefully, you can learn from my difficulties and put preventative measures in place, or maybe corrective actions to avoid what stumped me or slowed me down before. Back to Podfest 23 speaking submission, though. The first wave of selected candidates were notified by email. I eagerly read down the list. My name was not on it. I had a range of emotions come over me, most of which weren't pleasant. I'd say, to be real, there was some disappointment, a bit of anger, and then even frustration. Over the years, I'd like to think that my professional time has been well spent, from studying, preparing my content, keeping the audience in mind, to even rehearsals before presenting, before speaking. As someone that speaks both publicly and privately, and has obtained great feedback and results, I was confident my title and my content would be a strong win. Well, in the first part of that email, there was a note that said, "Another round of selections will be coming, so stay tuned." I checked my email what seemed several times a day. I even filtered for keywords such as Podfest or speaker in case I missed the email, but nothing. Maybe it had gone into my spam folder, maybe my other folder. I checked, but to no avail. Then, about a week later, I got the news. I was awarded a speaking spot, but not the 30-minute position that I applied for. Rather, a reduced duration speaking presentation type. It was called Pecha Kucha, and it's Japanese for chit-chat. I had not heard of it, so I did a little research. And I learned these types of talks are performed the world over, so I was good company there. But each speaker is only given 5 minutes and 20 slides. The idea is to impress, educate, and entertain your audience in a TED-type talk style. So with my reduced speaking time, I had to come up with a clever twist to my present title. From 3 years of podcasting experience in 30 minutes has become 3 years of podcasting experience in 300 seconds. I've taken the highlights, lowlights, and kept the learning experiences and distilled them down into easy-to-consume 5-minute presentation. Those in attendance will also have the opportunity to download my slide deck at the end. I love attending teaching sessions, but at times it can be difficult to fully consume the content to stay engaged while you attempt to take key notes. I wanted to make it easy on the audience and allow them something to grab afterwards so that they could bring it with them and use it in the future. That's why I'm providing that free link to download the presentation. Podfest 23 is coming up, and boy, it's at the end of this week. It's at the Renaissance Orlando SeaWorld. I'll be speaking on January 26th, Thursday, and due to my speaking selection, I've been awarded a generous gift, a content creator pass. I think we should celebrate all wins, no matter how small. Your win may not be what you were hoping for, but regardless, it's still a win. It's still an opportunity. Sometimes achievements come when they're least expected. So how about you in your daily life, both personally and professionally? How do you feel about your successes in life? Have you had any small wins that suddenly surprised you and came back to be a big win? Do you celebrate life's little victories, or do you only take part and pride in those big wins? I think it's all a matter of caliber and all a matter of engagement and reference. What's small to someone could be huge to someone else. I think it's all about beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We have to realize that life presents us with many opportunities. Sometimes we could think of those as difficulties. Where I work, we actually mention those challenges and when we have projects that come up, and that's exactly what they are, challenges. We don't say, hey, I've got a problem for you. Someone will say, hey, I've got a challenge and need your help. When a project is challenging and it's being presented to see who might take it, what you'll hear from our management team is, hey, Craig, hey, others, we have an opportunity come up and need your help. So in life's daily struggles, we can look at our work as boring, difficult, we just have to grind another hour, another day away. Or I think we can look at things a little bit differently and embrace the fact that we're employed. Hopefully you like what you do, as I do, both at Siemens Energy, my day job as a project manager, but also my night job, if you will, as a career growth coach and podcast host. If you don't like what you do, maybe it's time to sit back and take a look at what your accomplishments are, take a look at where you are in life, and get a different lens, a refined view of where things are. Celebrating little victories doesn't have to be about awards, doesn't have to be at presentations or speaking engagements like I shared, just an example to get you thinking. It can be about some accomplishments that you've had over the years. Now that we're into the tail end of January for 2023, it might be a good time to reflect back on what you accomplished in 2022 or even part of that year. There had to be something good that happened in your life, something positive. Heck, when I talk to people about improving themselves, I talk about their strengths and they also talk about their weaknesses. And if you've heard me share this before, what I will say to someone if they don't think they have any weaknesses, I'll say, okay, tell me about your strengths, which they probably do, but then I say, tell me about your least strength or two. And it kind of catches them off guard. It's just a fancy way of using different words to get you thinking, to kind of, get you going, and to try to share. So if you didn't think you had a great year last year, or maybe you're not having a great start to 2023, I know for me and my family, we had a bunch of vehicle challenges and some other things going on that just weren't expected. So it was a difficult hurdle to start out with 2023, but we're slowly recovering. One could look at it another way and say, oh boy, Craig, you're having a bunch of trouble, but at least you have vehicles that you can work on, right? Some of you might be working on getting your first vehicle. Some of you might be working on getting a vehicle upgrade. I guess it's all about the way you view things, is my point. So, really, just pause and reflect about the little victories in your life, both personally and professionally. There's got to be something there that helps you feel good about yourself and maybe the good in you that others have recognized. Maybe it's through peers. Maybe it's through your colleagues, leadership. I don't know. Maybe it's in your family circle or what you do out in your community. So this episode was really just to get you thinking, a little food for thought about celebrating life's little victories. As I get ready to start closing up this episode, I wanted to share one more quick story. It's something that actually caught me off guard and was a true surprise, and I hope it'll impact you as well. Over the years, working my day job, as I mentioned, Siemens Energy, I've been part of numerous resource groups, some of which offered mentoring. Those are the Hispanic, the African Americans, and the women's networks. Then on behalf of my late father, who served in the Air Force, I support the Veterans Network too. During one of our past closing sessions, the year's summary and highlights were being presented. Then at one point came an award distribution. So I sat inquisitively and supportively engaged. I was curious as to what the Amigos resource group had achieved that year. Lo and behold, they started discussing mentoring results. We all cheered for the great successes and guidance that were shared. By the way, mentoring, or even co-mentoring if you will, is a humbling way to give back, but also to receive. I believe by mentoring, both the mentor and the mentee grow. So as the speaker continued to share the mentoring stories, we listened inquisitively. They closed with announcing a special award. It completely caught me off guard when my name was called. I was presented with Siemens Mentor of the Year from the Amigos Hispanic Resource Group. Besides shock, the incredible appreciation for being considered and winning such an award cannot be overstated. If you've ever won an award, that was something, maybe it was of monetary value, I'm sure you appreciated it, but over time, the gift will be spent. The memory may fade away. But when I was presented with a physical gift, I was shocked. It was an engraved, clear, acrylic glass award in the shape of a crystal. It had the words Siemens Mentor of the Year and my name embossed on it. I can proudly say that I displayed in my home office and have fond memories from that mentoring year, and still stay in touch with several of the people from that year's mentoring resource group. So here, the story has come full circle. Applying for an opportunity to speak at Podfest for a 30-minute time slot, and I was excited that I was accepted, but shockingly, in a reduced time frame of 5 minutes. Still a success in my book, but it took some soul-searching and content reorganization to get prepared. I do see that as a challenge as well, because what I originally had prepared was 30 minutes of content with some Q&A time available at the end. And now I've got to compress that down into 300 seconds. So that's a challenge in itself, and that's one that I'm up to and looking forward to sharing this Thursday when I present. Then in contrast, we had the final story about my reception of the Siemens Mentor of the Year award from the Amigos group. It's something that wasn't expected, it's something that wasn't planned, and as mentioned, it caught me completely by surprise. So, celebrating life's little victories can really have an impact on you depending on how you look at things and how you gauge things. Reviewing or evaluating your achievements from a different lens can certainly help. I hope today's few short stories and energetic discussion have excited you and made you think about your accomplishments, no matter how small, because we need to celebrate our little victories, otherwise life can be dull and boring. If you'd like to share one of your victories, please feel free to reach out to us on social media at Craig Ansell for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, or you can contact me directly, craig@craigansell.com. I look forward to seeing you if you're coming to Podfest. If not, stay tuned and I'll share some of the highlights in the following weeks ahead and on social media. I hope you have a great week ahead and your 2023 is turning out to be a positive one. God bless you. We'll talk next week. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our channel. New episodes every Monday. In the meantime, why don't you follow us on social media at Craig Ansell on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. To book a coaching appointment, download our free guides, or join our email list, check out the links in the description below.